The bubblegum ghost. There is life after death. Well, more accurate to be unlife. Creatures and humans with unfinished business or through unusual circumstances can often manifest fragments of themselves after their biological bodies have passed. Most ghosts don't retain most of their memories while alive, nor can they do a lot after death. Most of the time, the most they can do is just scare people from their sudden appearance. Rarely do you have ghosts that can actually affect the physical world. These ghosts usually work through a medium, and it is even rarer that one can directly touch the physical world. Those ghosts that can touch directly tend to be very dangerous, and all caution should be taken when confronting them. See the files about the brothers Ghastly for how dangerous a fully manifested ghost can be. Oftentimes, those ghosts can be a very large threat to humanity in general, with their malicious plans and activities. That is not the case for this ghost. The bubblegum ghost is one of the rare ghosts that can interact with the world at large, but like its namesake, it's restricted to working through its medium. Bubblegum, particularly bubblegum that's in the process of being blown into a bubble. Just gum by itself isn't enough, nor is being chewed a qualifier either. No, the bubblegum has to be in a bubble form for it to be a viable target for the bubblegum ghost. So when the ghost possesses the gum, the bubble will grow mouths and eyes that resemble human versions, and the bubble will detach and begin to float on its own. Making contact with the floating bubble ghost will cause it to, well, pop. The unusual thing happens when the bubble does pop. A volume of gum that didn't go into the original bubble, and it'll get everywhere. Basically, the bubblegum monster, when popped, will leave a mass of gum that tends to be at least 5 to 7 pounds. And because the gum bubble has a very thin membrane, the bubblegum ghost will pop not far from traveling from the person blowing the bubble. This results in that person getting covered in that gum, and if anyone knows, removing gum from hair and clothes is very much a nuisance. That is probably the most malicious thing about this ghost. It's pretty much a massive inconvenience for the person who was unlucky enough to be chosen victim. Testing will show that the excess gum produced will match whatever flavor and brand that the person was chewing before the bubblegum ghost manifests. The gum itself isn't poisonous, and in fact is still edible. Using the said ghost-produced gum to blow another bubble will actually re-summon the ghost back, and like previously, it'll pop and produce even more gum. This time 10 to 12 pounds worth. If one was bored, as one of our researchers was, they can quickly fill a room with bubblegum. All that it proved was that they were able to make a large mess and cost a lot of time because the researcher thoroughly got themselves stuck in the pile of gum. It took a team around 4 hours to dig that researcher out, and a full week to fully scrape the gum out of the room. Even months later, traces of the gum are still being found. So, most of the time, the bubblegum ghost has been used mainly for mean-spirited pranks and just being a general nuisance. Banishing the ghost is as simple as tossing some store-bought salt at the ghost. It'll tend to drive it away, but even then, the easiest way to avoid the ghost is to just toss out your gum when you're done chewing it. The only way you can see the bubblegum ghost being a serious danger is if it manifests while someone is driving a car and chewing gum. But as we never had a case of a person summoning the ghost in a moving vehicle, even having a researcher trying it via a crash test dummy rigged to blow bubbles with some of the bubblegum ghost's gum, it appears that a person may need to be still in order for the ghost to be able to lock on to the gum in question. Moving vehicles like cars or trains, maybe even walking at a brisk pace, may be enough to prevent its appearance. The most interesting part about this ghost is its history. If one was to do their research about the bubblegum ghost, it's easy to notice that this ghost has been around for a very, very long time, as in multiple millennia, with pottery, paintings, and even ancient drawings about the ghost. The bubblegum ghost may have been around as long as people were chewing gum. There's no real identity to lock on, and this ghost has been seen and located all around the world. Usually in humorous children's stories about kids getting pranked by their friends by getting caught in a gunk of gum that results from popping the ghost. Including one European story where a brother and sister pairing managed to escape from a massive hungry wolf by tricking it into the path of a blow bubble. The wolf was trapped in the goo long enough for the siblings to escape back to town. Another famous story is how a person prevented their own assassination by chewing gum and blowing a bubble. The pop startled the assassin and made them fire the poison dart early, only for the dart to get caught in the resulting massive gum. There's multiple stories like that, but as the bubblegum monster is a non-aggressive, non-dangerous threat to people, this file has low priority and research is probably going to be closed on it, as there's not much more that can be done without permanently destroying the creature in the process.